the community response has been so far?
The community response has been amazing. We've had so much support from people not only locally in the Tri-Borough region but all across the country. I mean, yesterday we had a group of Muslim brothers and sisters come down from Leicester bringing food and vital supplies. So all I can say is, in the face of a horrible, horrific tragedy that could have been prevented, because there's a lot of issues and a lot of questions to be answered about what happened, the one positive thing that has come out of it is that the community, as is the case in this area, stood together.
Okay, and from your understanding there was criminal neglect and corporate manslaughter? Would you...
Okay, so both are legal terms, both criminal neglect and corporate manslaughter, which would have to be proved. So what I would say is, I don't obviously have the proof that this has happened. However, based on the circumstances and the information that we're receiving, it is very clear that residents raised serious concerns about safety, in particular fire hazards. I mean, that goes back, I believe, till about 2011. So over the last 6 or 7 years, people have been raising concerns. As late as the end of last year, 2016, there was actually a blog written by one of the members of the Residents Association, which actually showed a photograph of a balcony on fire. And the articles, the reason for it was to actually draw attention to the potential fire hazards. This was made, the TMO, Tenant Management Organisation, were made aware of this, and the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, and neither sought to act. In addition, the cladding that was put around the building, the so-called redevelopment, which really did nothing for the residents, was of no benefit whatsoever to the residents. It was done simply to change the physical appearance of the building to make it look more hospitable to wealthy people coming in seeking to buy, so it would help to raise the house prices of already extravagant houses and flats in the area. So this cladding that was placed on the building, which had no interest for the tenants, appears to be the reason that the fire was able to consume it so quickly and why so many people have died. From what I understand, there's two types of cladding that can be put up. One which has a thin resin in between, which is quite fireproof. It's, you know, pretty, it will sustain itself during a fire. The second type, the cheaper version, the resin in between is flammable in very high, well, where there's lots of fire and lots of heat. It appears that, unsurprisingly to me, having lived in this borough for 25 years and knowing the type of mindset of the TMO and the borough, that they went for the cheaper version. And so what we saw, and it makes perfect sense because many people we know were standing out there and witnessed the whole thing, is that basically the building was engulfed in a ring of fire due to the dangerous nature of the cladding. So yes, in most circumstances, if the evidence is available, then the local authority and the TMO are culpable. And there have been deaths, and to put it bluntly, they have the deaths of these people on their hands. One of my major concerns is the underestimation of the deaths. So far, I think we've been told there's 16 people. However, based on the anecdotal evidence of local people, it is very clear that far more people have died. And those numbers might be, who knows, might be 100, might be more.
Is there anything you would say as a kind of community response? Is there something that you think the council should take heed of at this moment in time?
Well, I think one of the first and most important things, a priority, is that these people that have died, that have been burnt, that have been traumatized, the responsibility for this tragedy is on the hands of the TMO and by proxy RBKC. They have a responsibility to do as much as possible to make the lives of those people comfortable. And one of the important things is not to decant people out of the borough, not to move them out of the borough, to stop engaging in this program of what I call socio-ethnic cleansing. Basically, if you're working class, if you're from a minoritized or racialized community, they will find any reason to move you out so they can move their wealthy people in. Well, no, that's not acceptable. Every single solitary person who is in that tower block and the surrounding properties, it is the responsibility of this local authority, RBKC, to ensure that they are accommodated on a temporary or interim basis in this borough, within close proximity of each other, because a community has been traumatized, a community needs to heal. They need to be able to see each other, they need to be able to communicate, they need to have that coming together. So yes, that's one of the first things. They are responsible for ensuring that not a single person leaves this borough.
Thank you very much.